16 dead, triple that in injuries. Somebody lost control.
He didn't lose control.
I'm a huge Stephen King freak. You know, I've read the books, and I was like, and then I got the chance to play Deb Hartsfield, and you know, it was like, it's for me, one of the best characters ever written.
I never know whether to be excited about what's going on in that basement or worried.
You don't need to worry, Mom. I'm taking care of us in that basement.
I started to understand the two of them together, how they're surviving together, and also how a parent doesn't see the clues of like evil in their children. There is that crazy bond of it's not possible because I love this person's not that person.
Brady, frankly, you come across as just plain weird.
The character, I think, is just so wonderful that he works in the local electric store. He's a good employee, not to draw attention to himself, and then he works on an ice cream truck. He's charismatic, kids love him. That's his idea of hiding in plain sight, he calls it. You know, it's like, if I'm going to be a psychopath and I'm going to be in the local area, then who would be the least likely person to be the psycho? Probably the dude selling ice creams. So, although maybe not.
You failed.
This guy's really trying to get into your head, isn't he? Well, his name is Jerome Robinson. He is young and black, you know? And he completely is the anti-stereotype for what America puts on young black men, and that is he's intelligent and he's going to Harvard, and he isn't afraid of anything, and he doesn't scare people.
Having bad thoughts, Detective. Right! I'm always awake.
And he becomes sort of Hodges' sidekick, like his right-hand man. Hodges doesn't know a lot of IT things and doesn't know a lot about computers because he's very outdated, but at the same time he is naive. He's one of those characters who doesn't know much about what's going on, but wants to know everything, and he'll take his time to learn everything. Throughout the season, he just keeps getting deeper and deeper into this game that the killer's playing, and he's not even aware of it sometimes.
Bill, retirement messes with people.
Life is supposed to be messy. I read it somewhere.
You need to find some sort of purpose.
The character is not in the original novel, and the reason why she was added is a very good one. When you change from the page to the screen, the reader becomes a visual audience and sees a much more rich reality and a much more visceral reality. And I think they felt that if Hodges, the lead character, had no one in his life at all, that he would really be so abandoned by the world that it would be too dark and too tragic for what he had to then go through. So they have him have a neighbor who cares for him more than he really wants, except that in the long run he's glad she's there. It's already been established that that anybody close to him is in a certain amount of jeopardy. If Brady knew about her, which he does, she could be in danger.
It's a turn-on for him, this whole idea of winding someone up.
My name is Lou Linklater. I mean, I'm like a gender-fluid lesbian who rides a motorcycle. Come on, who doesn't want to do that? I work at a discount electronics store called Supreme Electronics, as well as Brady Hartsfield. And Brady and I work together there, and he's my friend. And we're work buddies.
What kind of monster do you think I am?
I mean, there's little moments where I suspect that he might have done something, and he sort of assuages that fear. And so we're talking about years of working together. And we're talking about many, you know, we would have been talking about learning about the Mercedes killing at work, like talking to him about that. Like, you'd have to go back over every I mean, anyone who's been betrayed knows that madness. And it's like, you have no basis to stand on about like who your friends are, who you are anymore.
Ready, action. You want as many people to experience what you make as you can. And I hope it'll get enough attention that people will come to it, and then it will be out there in the big world, how everything gets out there. So that's my hope for the show. I wanted a show that was haunting and beautiful without being visually style over substance, because the substance of this show are the characters. I think the nature of cable, and especially new companies, new platforms, they want to draw filmmakers and storytellers in, and there's so many platforms out there. and there's so many stories. So I think that they are thrilled with David Kelly and myself and Stephen King and this cast we've got to really bring more people to them. And we had a lot of freedom, and I think it came from not only the people we're working with, but also their belief in the show and us.
Hope to be better at this. Now I'm just gonna kill you.
Every cop gets when they just can't shake. This is mine.
You know, when you read about psychopaths or sociopaths, there's often they create characters for themselves, you know, and also often have a superficial charm. They're often like very good with people, have good personal skills. They're not the person that like is like weird and strange and like, you know, often there's a confidence to someone who's psychopathic because they have to believe that they could go out and end someone's life and get away with it. I mean, it takes quite a kind of bold person to do that. So, I don't know. It was a fascinating headspace to look into. I read a lot about psychology and psychopathy and sociopaths and children who kill. It was a very dark kind of weird research month or two beforehand.
It's Stephen King writing about the monsters inside the people. It gets pretty dark and out there.
Stephen King's amazing at tapping into what is going to scare people, and right now he's tapping into someone who lives in your cul-de-sac, in your down your street, who might just want to run a car into you, or might just want to blow something up.
Can't be all work and no play, honey. You need a little fun in your life.
You know, there's a dark humour to some of it, basically, and that's in the novel, which Stephen wrote so well. You can be having this conversation with someone and be putting across this persona and knowing that you're thinking, I wish I could pick up that pen and stab it in your eye as hard as I could. And that's the thoughts. That's the process which you read about in the book. You get inside Brady's head, and they're the sort of things. If that's what he would be imagining now in this situation.
Right.
But I'm not. Or am I?